Larkinsville, Alabama, February 7th, 1864. Dear Catherine, after so long a time, I once more embrace the opportunity of writing you a few lines to inform you that I am well as usual, and the company is enjoying the same good blessing, and I hope that these few lines may find you as well as you were when I last saw you, for nothing gives me more pleasure than to hear of you enjoying good health and a free and happy life. We have just returned from a 12-day scouting expedition. We left camp on the morning of the 26th of January, and after 100 miles march through storms and mud, we arrived in camp safe and sound. This is why I have not written sooner. While on the march, I received your kind and affectionate letter, which I read with interest and care. I was happy to hear that you were still well, but sorry to hear that your brother was so unwell. I hope that he will gain his health again, for without health we are without happiness. I have not volunteered in the veteran service yet, but I am on a sturdy to know what to do. For you have said that as long as the war lasts, you will not be united to any, and for me to be at home, waiting for the war to terminate, would be a dreary life to me, for it is the duty of all who can leave their homes to enlist in the defense of their country, and while I have more to take care of until the war is over, it is my duty to be in the army. My father wants me at home, but he can get along without me. It is indeed a temptation, Catherine, to see so many of our brave boys re-enlisting. For me to stand back while I have nothing to hinder me looks a little like cowardice, so much that I sometimes am almost tempted to go up and put my name down for 3 years longer. My brother has re-enlisted and is now at home, and nearly one half of our corps are now veterans, and there might be such a thing that the next letter you get home will be from a veteran. This is a nice country to soldier in, for the climate is so warm, but rather wet and muddy. The fields are now quite green, and the frogs try to see which can howl the loudest. Indeed, everything has an appearance of spring. We saw on our march several people preparing to make gardens. The sheet is about full, and I will close for the present. I want you to write as often as you can, for I dearly love you and your letters. Direct to me, Company D, 30th Regiment, O.V.I, 2nd Brigade, 2nd Division, 15th A.C., Larkinsville, Alabama, via Nashville, Tennessee. This from your faithful lover, E.J. Allton, Catharine Shick. Remember me, E.J.A. Catherine. This letter expresses Erasmus's desire to re-enlist, which he does end up re-enlisting, and it was just interesting to me how both all of his friends and family members are re-enlisting for the war, and to me this shows like a dedication to the cause of the Civil War. And it's interesting, like this like inner turmoil that he has whether or not to re-enlist. And I enjoyed specifically the part in the letter where he mentions that Catherine would not marry him until the war was over. I think it's a very important letter to look at, especially considering the past turmoil that he's gone through. And it's just something to me that kind of details this back and forth one would have whether or not to continue fighting after seeing so much, and having a duty to a country and a cause that he believes in. And he talks very heavily about duty and this obligation that he has to his country. And I think it's just one of those letters that inspires like me personally. Like reading this, you kind of start to, well, throughout this project too, you kind of really start to root for Erasmus in a way. Like reading the letters that I have, you kind of start to like root for him. And even though we know like how long the war is going to last and everything beyond that, it's just really interesting to kind of have those like, and trying to separate the personal biases that like I've had in reading letters. And I just think that this letter encapsulates kind of the split between wanting to re-enlist and just kind of being war-torn and wanting the war to be over and wanting to go home and see the people that you love and that you're fighting for. But for soldiers, and for so many Civil War soldiers and just soldiers in general, like it's so important to them to remember the people that they're fighting for and the places that they're fighting for.